Okay, this is going to be super light in terms of editing since I'm just quickly throwing this video out because I want to. There's also kind of going to be light spoilers for Blaster Master 03 here since I do mention stuff that's in the files of the old Steam Next Fest demo. So if you don't want to know any of that, now's your chance to leave. Alright, cool, let's get into the random theories I have. Theory number 1. Multiple characters will be playable in the game's main storyline. I've got a few reasons to believe this. First, collecting a life up in the Steam demo brings a quick text box describing the item, saying, increases the MA and its pilot's life by 1, not increases Sophia and Jason's life by 1, which is how it is in the previous 2 games. My guess is it's written this way so that it can be fitting for multiple playable characters, since one universal message would be easier to translate than several unique ones. Second, the files have a bit of interesting data in them. Of course, you have a file named PIMAG Sophia Custom Param, likely meaning Player Info Metal Attacker G Sophia Custom Parameter. But then you have 2 more interesting files with similar names. PIMA Origin Custom Param and PIXX Custom Param, indicating other metal attackers. PIMA Origin likely stands for Player Info Metal Attacker Original, as in the very first metal attacker, which would be Kane Gardner's. The other file I'm not so sure of. The only time XX is ever used across both games is in the serial code of Invem Sophia, which is Invem MAXX Invem Sophia. But since Invem Sophia was totally destroyed in the first game, I doubt it's going to suddenly come back for BMZ3. Maybe a different metal attacker gets infected by some mutant and that's what this is for, but I'm not sure. Theory number 2, new special weapons from the files. This is a short one. All it is that there's a few files in the aforementioned Steam demo indicating names of other special weapons G Sophia SV might be able to use. The first 2 are kind of obvious. Missile is just the warhead missiles, and H-laser stands for the homing laser. The other ones are hard to guess. I-Spark is probably the electric move shown in one of the trailers, maybe it's called Invincible Spark, and R-Cluster might stand for Rapid Cluster, but I have no idea what that, Shell, or DDF could be. Theory number 3. Boss Rush will be in the game as well as a couple other unlockables. Another really quick one. There's a file in the Steam demo named MBS03 Boss Rush Param, with MBS probably meaning menu buttons or something. There's a few other MBS files ranging from MBS01 to MBS07, but none of them have any extra text like the Boss Rush one, aside from MBS07 ESH Param, but I have literally no idea what that could mean. Theory number 4. Jason will gain access to new G-Blaster rifle firing modes at some point throughout the main story. Another quick one, the weapon menu for Jason just has space for 1 or 2 more different gun modes, so there's probably going to be 1 or 2 more different gun modes. No evidence from the files or anything this time. Theory number 5. The upgraded Sophia that we see in the key art is called G Sophia J1. Back to the player info files, there's one called PIMAGSJ1, which probably means Metal Attacker G Sophia J1, a reference to Sophia J7 from Blaster Master Blasting Again. This could be that upgraded G Sophia that you can see in the game's main key art. Theory 6. Leibniz is in some way related to Jason. Another theory that doesn't involve any of the files, Leibniz is very likely connected to Jason in at least some capacity. He managed to just hop into G Sophia SV without authorization, which we see in the Steam demo again, despite the fact that it's been previously shown that all metal attackers require a person to present the associated blaster rifle in order to operate them. So either when Jason and Eve built the original G Sophia, they just totally ignored this feature that was present in Sophia the Third and Sophia Zero, or Leibniz just possesses some blaster rifle that G Sophia SV detects as valid authentication. It's a small theory, and Inti probably just completely forgot about this and didn't take it into account when they made this, but it's still something. Theory 7 doesn't have a name. My script just says "wait a second" in all caps. I just noticed this while checking the demo files again while writing the previous 2 parts of the script, but it's really cool, so I'm gonna add it here. The extra weapons mentioned in Theory 2 are prefixed with BS12. This wouldn't mean anything except for the fact that I realized something else. The other files prefixed with BS and then a number likely stand for the bosses. Things prefixed with BS01 mention stuff like Wall Shot and Thunder Break, which would be referring to attacks that Kane can use when you fight him in the end of Area 1 in the demo. So BS12 having similar things mean either 1, you refight Kane towards the end of the game and he has more weapons, or 2, more interestingly, you can fight an infected G Sophia SV at some point. The second theory is supported by a file called BS12 Weapon Count. This might mean that whatever special weapons you collected while playing the game are then used by the infected G Sophia SV in some true final boss fight or something, similar to 01. Okay, that's the end of the video, I guess. Bye!